Hello again, everyone. It is Coach Joe with Susan Eileen, and we are talking about the 12 Gifts of Sobriety. Tonight, we're up to number 6, which is purpose instead of aimlessness. Now, all of these conversations that we're having are in conjunction with Susan's memoir, which has been released. It's on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. It's called Nada to Prada. It is a combination of Susan Eileen's journey through alcohol addiction into recovery coaching, our work together, and helping you helping you get equipped with the tools you need for your recovery journey. So we have been talking about the first 5 have been enjoying or finding the joy of missing out, discovering the joy of missing out, having hope instead of being hopeless, having freedom instead of chains, having relationship instead of loneliness, self-confidence instead of self-pity, all leading up to gift number 6, which is purpose instead of aimlessness. So as you start building this foundation in your recovery, you can then take the next step and figure out where you're trying to get to, which is really important because right now, from an addictive behavior standpoint, you have been so focused on where you are and that uncomfortableness, that anxiety, that depression because of where you are, that has fueled that addictive behavior. Once you can start figuring out the inside, and as Susan calls it, the internal work, and get that done, now all of a sudden you look at things not from where you're stuck at, but where you're trying to get to. And now you're finding purpose in your life. So with that, I'm going to toss it over to Susan Eileen.
Well, I would just have to say that the purpose component of your life can really radically change everything in ways that you actually can't imagine. So for myself, I wanted my sense of purpose to not be tied to earning money in any capacity, because I felt like as soon as money was tied to it, it would sort of corrupt the whole thing and the algorithm would go off the rails.
Mm-hmm.
So realistically, when you're looking for a purpose, for you, it might be volunteer work. It could be, building model trains. It could be starting a community garden, but it is going to be a rewarding, fulfilling aspect of your life that actually brings a sense of calm and a sense of peace that you've never experienced before. So for myself, it's quilting. Like
Mm-hmm.
quilting is my happy place. And again, because I am not doing it for money, I don't have to rush through the quilting process. I can do it when I feel like it. I can do it when time allows. I can do it when my creativity is flowing. And then, so I have been making quilts, as gifts for my family members. And these are heirlooms that will exist, 50 years after I'm gone. I have donated quilts to charitable organizations that auction them off. So these are volunteer organizations that align with my core values. So your sense of purpose realistically will align with your core values. And right now, realistically, you don't even know what those core values are. You will identify those when you work with Joe and I. But the purpose, it will have your core values, and a sense of calm and peace at the same time. and it will help you. The expression that I use is stay in alignment in your life. The big buzzword right now is mindfulness,
Mhm.
but for me, the quilting is not only purposeful, it's rewarding, it's fulfilling, it's mindful. And so if in active addiction, all of those words that I just used are actually pretty foreign to you. And again, you don't know what I'm talking about because you haven't experienced it. But these are all things that are internal solutions to the pain that you're feeling. These are great coping mechanisms instead of shopping and gambling and going to the bar. And so once you're leading in purpose aligned with your core values, again, it reinforces some of the other gifts. It reinforces your self-confidence. It attracts better relationships. It reinforces the joy of missing out. So you can see how the gifts of sobriety actually start to snowball and then form a foundation that you can fall back on during rough times.
Absolutely, without a doubt. And what's really important too, all of that was very well said. The thing that I was thinking about as you were talking about your quilting is that when when we have a lack of self-confidence, we have a lack of self-worth, we have a sense that we can't do anything right and we're just messed up. And for example, quilting, the other thing about quilting is all of a sudden now someone else appreciates your hard work. Someone else finds the value in what you're doing. And that's got to make you feel wonderful.
Well, honestly, okay, so this goes back to sustainable solutions
Hmm.
because that quilting is now your body needs dopamine. That's
Hmm.
why you are gravitating to Macy's to buy the Tommy Hilfiger suit. But realistically, somewhere in the back of your brain, when you get the compliment on the Tommy Hilfiger suit, you know they're really complimenting Tommy Hilfiger, not you.
Yeah, right.
So when I um, design a quilt and take it through execution and then get complimented on that, first of all, I built a lot of skills going through that execution, but I also was giving myself sustainable dopamine
Hmm.
through that process. So
Hmm.
we are finding that sense of purpose uh is actually sustainable dopamine instead of this quick fix dopamine that is shopping, gambling, and drinking.
Absolutely. And those types of dopamine hits from the addictive behavior, the reason why you need more and more of the behavior is because you are um, reducing the number of dopamine receptors in your brain. So that's why it takes more to get the same dose or a bigger dose of dopamine. And you can rebuild those receptors over time. And the accomplishment of completing a quilt gives you a little shot of dopamine, the satisfaction that you get from someone else appreciating your work, all of that. So you are shifting and finding better ways to get those happy brain chemicals.
Yes, and the great part about it is with this program, it all sort of like falls into place almost accidentally. Oftentimes, I feel like self-help books or maybe motivational speakers, you know, might get you really pumped up, but then you feel like you're approaching it the way you would approach your job, and you can't approach it the way you approach your job because your sense of purpose is supposed to fulfill you in a different way than your
Hmm.
job does. But again, that would be something we would, Coach Joe and I would be guiding you through.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? That's a great way to end this because you mentioned it before or earlier in this episode. I'm going to mention it now. Um, for me, I transitioned into coaching, and it's really my second career, but it's because I went from working for a paycheck to working for a passion. And
Yes.
the passion is coaching. So you're going to be finding your passion. And it's not that Susan, Eileen, and I are going to tell you what your passion is. You're going to figure it out. That's what coaching does. Coaching facilitates the conversation because you have the ability to be great. You have the
And
ability to learn to live the life you deserve.
And I am very passionate about the fact that I believe this is the best program on the market right now because we're combining my lived experience, emerging scientific research, and the great program that
Mhm.
Coach Joe developed. So I know I said it in an earlier episode, but sobriety is actually the magic elixir that you are looking for. So,
Yes, well said. And with that, we are going to close out, but look for some information at the end of this video or this podcast with regards to the January workshops and how to reach out to us. And let's have a conversation about where you are in your journey. And we will talk to you again soon. Take care.
good night.